quick check now at the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the Bucks, Brandon Knight is out there with Mayo. And inside, a kinetic shot blocker rebounder out of Virginia Commonwealth, Larry Sanders. Then there's Carlos Delfino, and it's Ilyasova in at the 4. And for Brooklyn, Darren Williams and Joe Johnson at the 1 and 2. And inside, out of Stanford University, a skilled post scorer with tremendous size, the 7-footer, Brook Lopez. Then it's Pierce, and it's Garnett in at the power forward position. And here is Knight.
You know, the new home for the Nets last season as they moved over from New Jersey to Brooklyn, they must have loved their new digs because they were fantastic in front of this Brooklyn crowd last season. 26 and 15 here.
And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. Clark, you're right. The Nets are making a good impression here, as you were saying. Always good for a team to open up a new arena with a strong record at all.
And what a great stadium, guys. The Barclays Center, one of the best-looking floors in the NBA. Great design all around. And even on the outside, when you walk up to the arena here in Brooklyn, just a beautiful atmosphere.
Well, Brandon Knight out of Kentucky is more of a combo guard than a pure point when you look at him offensively. But with his long arms and good athleticism and at 6'3", I think there's a lot of upside for him at the defensive end of the floor. I think he's a guy that could defend 1 and 2s effectively.
And for Brandon Knight offensively, he's still trying to figure it out.
I think he's best as a spot-up shooter. I mean, he does have some point guard skills. He's got some athleticism, but he's really an excellent outside shooter when he's got time to set up.
Well, I think Larry Sanders is one of the most improved players in the league, guys. I don't know where you stand on it, but, you know, he led the league in ejections, too, with 5. He's got to control and manage his emotions a little better.
And he can't hit the second. Back to Sanders, who said he's taking steps to keep his composure, not getting to other players and feel the wrath of officials. Those technicals were piling up.
Well, Kevin, he's already made some nice strides in his approach to the game, just eating right, getting to the gym early. You know, you really have to learn how to become a professional, and I think Sanders has made that next step.
And just over a minute played here in the start of the game. Knight nails the baby hook.
You know, size-wise, this is not a great one-on-one matchup for him, but he got that shot to go.
But you wouldn't know it by how he finished. That's a nice hoop there.
And it's slammed in by Garnett. Stupendous rush to the rim and a mighty slam on the end of it.
But through the teeth of some pretty soft D. I can't help but say that.
Well, let's see how that impacts things here, because those kinds of plays sometimes can be game changers on both sides.
Nets have gone 50% from the field, hitting 3 of 6 since the opening tip.
You know, the Bucks were the last team to make it into the Eastern Conference playoffs, and part of the reason that happened was because they didn't really do well against the rest of the conference. 24 and 28 against the East.
Maybe a low percentage pass, but it still nearly got through.
I like it, though. I mean, it's an aggressive play. Heads up defending, deflected away.
And you know that's going to be goaltending, guys, so that's a blue basket right there.
He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
And the Nets making a change here. Terry's checked in. Clark, as you were saying, the rest of the Eastern Conference got the better of the Bucks. Had they been a little tougher against some of the lesser teams in their own conference, they might not have had to deal with the Heat in the first round of last year's playoffs.
Well, the Bucks tried to mix things up last year. Remember, they made the big trade at midseason, too, going for J.J. Redick and moving on from some of the young players. And I think that changed. And, of course, the coaching switch from Scott Skiles to Jim Boylan. So they lost some of their momentum.
2-for-1 opportunity here if they want it.
That's what I do. Make sure you get a couple of shots here to close this quarter.
No challenge from the defense there. Clark could have put that one through any way he wanted.
And I love the choice there, partner, going hard to the hoop for that throwdown.
Yeah, that's invisible defense leading to a very visible finish.
Now here's Johnson. Terry, he's guarded by Knight. And the basket by Kirilenko.
He can be a forgotten man in their offense sometimes, but, you know, the defense still needs to keep an eye on him.
And Ilyasova throws it down.
Now, this is why the breakaway rim was invented, for plays just like that.
Well, he almost brought the whole thing down, Clark, by hanging on that long.
Yeah, he did.
It was a great dunk, and also a great game we've got here.
Here's Johnson, following the bucket by the Bucks. Shot by Terry, no good. Knight against Pierce. And that's a foul called on Andre Wash. That's his first foul. Milwaukee shooting their 5th and 6th free throws of the game. First one falls for him. And both free throws good for Ilyasova. Johnson attacking. Lays it up and banks it in.
Late reaction from the defense, and he's always going to make good on that.
With 1 on the clock. No good on that last second attempt there. And that concludes a back-and-forth, high-scoring first quarter of play. Nets out in front, leading by just 2. 2K Sports back in a moment here in Brooklyn. And so far, it's been a closely contested game as we get the second quarter up and going. And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for the Nets.
And right from the start, guys, it's apparent they're determined to establish a presence in the paint.
The other thing that's helped them early tonight are the points they've been able to convert off turnover.
And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to Doris Burke for an update. Hi, Doris.
Gentlemen, Andre Kirilenko declined a second-year player option on his contract with the Timberwolves worth $10 million. He had to settle for a lot less in Brooklyn, but at least a chance to play for a stacked team looking to contend for a title. Kevin?
Well, they've definitely added some quality size there. No question about that. We'll see how they do.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
Yeah, it feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
Well, you know, the Bucks thought they had a plan to make a big push forward by pairing some talent together in the backcourt, but what seems to have happened is they are now mired in mediocrity, which is exactly where you don't want to be.
Joe Johnson on the wing. And that one is stuffed right through. Well, Clark, a clear lane to the basket and the emphatic jam.
And that is outstanding attacking basketball.
Well, he had no choice but to take that one to the bucket.
Outside Kirilenko, Terry. Beautiful dish, and the layup goes down. Terry's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Well, you knew he'd win that race.
Definitely. I mean, that's what you call early offense.
And Milwaukee calls their first time out of the game. And back to Minnesota, they were the 8th seed in the East last year, but still finished 6 games under 500. Still a lot of work for them to get above 500 and be in a position where, Steve, they are, competing for home court in the playoffs.
Yeah, a lot of changes for the Bucks in the offseason, but a team that was able to sneak in last year, they're hopeful to make it once again this season, but it feels like they're kind of stuck in the middle right now.
A different look for Milwaukee. Udo's checked in for Pachulia. Delfino comes in for John Henson. And it's Mayo in for Ilyasova. Here's Delfino. They get a hand on it. Lopez drives in. A chance to extend the lead to double digits, but it's no good.
He doesn't have the elite speed or shooting ability to be an impact starter. But Luke Rittenauer, with his experience in the league, the way he can run an offense, his ball handling skills, and his three-point shot-making ability, is ideally suited to be a backup point guard and a very effective one for any team in the league.
Evans outside. Oh, good with the triple. Bucks trail by 11. Here's Delfino. And the Bucks miss again. And Rittenauer's three-point percentage has fallen off the last few seasons, Steve, but he's still one of the top mid-range shooters in the game.
Yes, he is. Former 14th overall pick out of Oregon back in 2003. You know, defensively, he can sometimes be at a disadvantage, but he's really carved out a nice, long career.
And that one's good by Pierce.
That's like a layup for him. He's just wide open out there.
Bucks have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. Here's Ridenour, and foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. That's on Brook Lopez.
He's an outstanding ball handler in the pick-and-roll scheme. Whether he decides to shoot it or pass it, he's as good as there is at using screen-and-roll situations and making the right decision.
It's a fundamental part of the game that he is more than mastered.
Both free throws good from Ridenour.
Guys, now with the Nets and the Knicks both playing in New York, it's just added to the rivalry that was already pretty strong to start with. But it's interesting, if you're from Brooklyn and you grew up rooting for the Knicks, who do you cheer for now? It's probably divided some households, a lot of rivalries in families alone. It should be interesting as this team takes further root in Brooklyn.
Mayo, covered by Evans. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. And there's O.J. Mayo on the assist by Delfino.
Boy, the drive to the bucket was nice, but how about the finger roll finish? Beautiful.
The dish now to Lopez. Back to Pierce. Pass to Williams. Gets the three-pointer to fall. Williams has got his first 3 points of the game. And there's the feed to Neal. The clock runs out, and we're heading to halftime. Nets lead by 13. We'll have the start of the third quarter for you shortly.
And now, brought to you by Sprint. The weekend, the Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Welcome back to New York City, the bright beacon of the Statue of Liberty, lighting up the harbor.
Talk about great numbers for Jason Terry. He has 9 points, and he has been the definition of a thief with all those steals.
I'll say, defensively, he's fought his way through this game beautifully. They haven't gotten away with any loose passes, any sloppy ball handling when he's in the vicinity.
A chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Well, guys, for Jason Kidd, who has taken over as head coach of the Nets with no coaching experience, certainly there's some apprehension about how he'll do. But one thing we are certain of, he knows how to lead. On Team USA, the coaching staff raved about Kidd's leadership in winning the gold in 2008. And former Knicks teammate Raymond Felton summed it up this way, saying, quote, "He's a great role model, a father figure who understands the game, understands life. I think he'll be a great coach. The guys will listen to him." Kevin?
I like his chances. Thanks.
You know, the Bucks really struggled at finishing off defensive possessions last season. They did a good job forcing tough shots, but oftentimes didn't clean it up with the rebound. It was a big problem for them as they were one of the worst teams at giving up offensive rebounds all season.
And the foul on Paul Pierce. That'll be his 2nd foul of the game. Luke Ridenour is checked in for the Bucks. Timeout called the Bucks. Bucks finished tied for last in the league in terms of amount of offensive rebounds. They would give up over 12 a game for them. And it really did end up hurting them, Steve, on more than one occasion.
Yeah, they like to block shots. They had a lot of guys who would come over and help from the weak side, and that left them exposed in terms of boxing out their men. And I think that's an area they have to improve on this year, is on the glass.
O.J. Mayo is checked in for Milwaukee. Second half of basketball, just over a minute played so far. Offensive rebound, Delfino, rejected by Pierce. And it's Johnson penetrating, laid in with a nice touch off the glass. Johnson's got 8 points.
The only tough part of that basket for him was getting into such good position. The rest of it seemed easy.
Well, when Rajon Rondo went down last season and the Celtics looked to be out of any title contention, Kevin Garnett, guys, became a very hot topic on the trade market, and with his ability and experience, that should be no surprise.
Third quarter of play with just over a minute and a half gone by.
That's not his shot at all. Way too far beyond his range.
And it's thrown down hard with both hands.
Cutting into that lead a little bit. Way to finish.
And the basket is still shaking.
Oh, man, he's got so much power.
You talked about what Garnett can bring to a team. He's still an impactful player. Defensively, a deadly jump shooter. He reached 25,000 points last season with Boston. Also a great passer.
But it's defensively where he really makes his mark. One of the best defensive forwards I think the league has ever seen. His ability to communicate to guard pick and roll, to switch out onto point guards and stay in front of them, and then the intensity, the intangible that he brings to your club.
He's clobbered, and he'll get 3 shots at the line. That's on O.J. Mayo.
Well, it's been an interesting few years for Darren Williams and a lot of controversy involving his coaches. So Williams looking for stability and also, I think, looking for maybe an improved reputation as this season unfolds.
Going back to Williams-Clark and the coaching change, do you think he had a hand in that or not? It's so hard to speculate.
It really is, Kevin. I agree with you there. I think it's overblown, quite honestly. You have to remember, playing in the Big Apple, the storylines will abound, true or not, and they sometimes can take on a life of their own.
Well, the same thing happened in Utah now, too, under him.
Yeah, well, again, I think some of that, there may have been a little bit to it, but again, I think overblown is the best way to look at it.
And there's the whistle, fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
Way to play in attack mode and get inside.
And, you know, if you're on defense and you're going to foul, make sure it's a good one. They did, preventing the and one. And up and down season for the Nets last year, and the playoffs were just more of the same. They ended up getting knocked out by the Bulls in the only first-round matchup that went to 7 games.
And both free throws good from Bloch. Well, back to the Nets in the playoffs. They lost a game at Barclays early and looked to be on the ropes down 3-1 after 4 games, but they did well just to steal one in Chicago and force a game 7.
What a strange series that was. The Bulls made that miracle comeback behind Nate Robinson in 1 game and then ended up going on the road to Brooklyn and winning game 7. What a disappointment for the Nets in their debut season in Brooklyn.
Well, you know, it's still exciting to come here to the Barclays Center, this beautiful new arena, and you really like the fact that it's built to showcase basketball. Terrific sight lines, everything the fans could ask for.
It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. And the Nets miss again.
Well, the shot was there for him, and he had to take it. I don't care if he didn't convert. He's got to take that every time.
And it's out of bounds. The Bucks able to retain possession here. Here's Ilyasova, and the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Trying to make it a 3-point play.
He had that play ready to go. Well done on the inbound.
He's gone 2 for 2 at the line so far.
And he was up over the 80% mark from the free throw line last year. I'm sure he was pretty happy with those numbers.
And there's the foul that goes on Ilyasova. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line. For Brooklyn, they have shot 4 of 7 as a team from the line tonight. Several misses earlier.
And you look at the numbers, guys, this team shot a 73% clip over the course of last season.
And that just has to improve, guys. I mean, the free throw shooting is something that has to get better. You're immediately putting yourself at a disadvantage when you shoot that poorly from the line.
Well, it's been an exciting game. Plenty of offense as we head to the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter just moments away now as we welcome you back. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for the Nets.
Their high-energy defensive effort has paid off for them, guys, with more than a few steals over the course of the ballgame.
And they're also really getting out in transition and scoring some hoops in the fast break tonight.
And it's blocked by Knight. Here's Pachulia. Batters through traffic and lays it in. Pachulia's got the fourth quarter started here with a bucket for the Bucks. And Williams, here we go. And he jams it with authority. He is capable, Clark, of some incredible athleticism.
And we just got a chance to see it on full display right there.
Well, you got to love a point guard who can finish like a power forward.
Bucks trail by 9. And the foul called on Joe Johnson. That's his 3rd foul of the game. A different look for Milwaukee. Carlos Delfino's checked in for Ilyasova. And it's Mayo in for Gary Neal. Feeds it to Delfino. And the foul on Paul Pierce. That's his 3rd foul of the game. Goes up off the inbound. And Knight slams it in.
Unstoppable offense from both teams. I love the pace this game has been played at.
So does everybody else in the building. This has been a fun one.
And it's Terry off the drive. The 3 from Johnson. Lopez dishes to Garnett. And Henson sends it back. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Nets will retain possession. Harry Sanders is checked in for Pachulia. We played just over 1 minute here in the fourth quarter. Pierce kicks to Terry. Back to Pierce. Dishes to Johnson. The pass to Pierce. And the foul called on Brandon Knight. That's his first foul. So for the Nets, Blotch comes in for Brook Lopez. And Darren Williams is subbed in for Jason Terry. Shots good by Blotch.
So nice to have a guy like that who can take charge at any time.
Yeah, so many of his passes, Steve, have led directly to baskets. Tell you what, he's not an easy guy to stop when he's got his sight on the rim.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher.
And I love how he goes with that one-hand tomahawk slam. Beautiful.
Good on the first, and that stretches their lead to 8.
And much more aggressive play has led to more free throw attempts for them here in the second half.
You know, that's how you do it, Steve. I mean, defender pressing up on you, you press right back, get into it.
The Bucks have gotten all 3 of their shots to drop here in the fourth quarter. They came out of the break on a roll, and the call will be against Darren Williams. That's his first foul. And he goes strong with the one-handed jam.
You know the coach drew up a nice play when you get an easy dunk on the inbounds pass.
Now a timeout called by Brooklyn. They lead by 7. 1:25 left in the fourth quarter. The Bucks making a change here. Udo's checked in. Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
I was able to listen in on what the Nets coach was going over with his team. The message, stick with it. He said the game is right there, fellas, right there for the taking. But we've got to play with purpose and precision. Kevin, can they get it done?
Just over a minute and a half right here in the fourth. Oh, and it looks like that's going to be a goaltending call. Yep, that's it. So they'll get the basket.
And that's 10 straight points in the paint. I mean, defensively, the wind has just been knocked out of their sails.
Need to get more bodies committed down low.
That's the first, and that increases their lead to 6. Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one. Here's Mayo, and he was fouled in the act of shooting. Good chance here now for a three-point play.
Well, they really aren't putting up any resistance on the low block. That's the 5th consecutive basket inside.
And Steve, these looks they're allowing are almost automatic.
How big was that? He's just so reliable, so confident at the free throw line.
Even though he isn't having the best of game from the floor, it hasn't seemed to hurt him.
Good! And what a sensational bucket to bring them within 1.
Huge points.
That's beyond huge, Steve. I mean, they needed that desperately.
And the call will be against O.J. Mayo. So that will be his second foul of the game. We're in the bonus, and we'll go to the line to shoot 2. So he gets them both, and it's a 3-point game.
Nicely done. Without much separating these teams, that's when you have to make good at the line.
Sanders. The rebound by Garnett. This may be their most important possession.
As long as they don't make a mistake here, they should be...
Últimos 43 segundos. Qué partido emocionante.
So that will be his second foul of the game.
Se aleja Matias. Me duele el labio, señores.
Second one is good.
59, 54, 5
That was a
puntitos.
critical trip to the strike.
Juega
They
la
have a
vida.
2-possession lead now.
Outside
Tira de
Mayo.
3. ¡Adentro!
Within 2 points.
He's got a
¡Adentro!
nice
Y
stroke
esto lo
from
deja
long
sin...
range, and he's not likely
A
to
3
pass up
puntos de
those
la victoria,
opportunities when
Leandro.
he
El
gets
R,
them.
Matías, el R. Tira triple, Leandro, tira
Well,
triple,
they're
ganas.
still within reach,
Tira
but they
triple,
need a
ganas.
hoop
No, se
pretty
deja
much
llevar
every time.
precisión.
They've got a little life,
59,
but they better execute
59,
every
señores.
time. Boy, their defense making an impact here
28
late, Kevin.
segundos,
straight off
posición
the
de
steal
24
clock, a
segundos.
perfectly
No
run
tiene
fast break
partido,
ends and a
Matías.
slam dunk.
Iba por el 2, iba por el
huge four-point swing in this
2.
game.
Cerró, falta de tiro. Qué ojete,
Get
Matías.
it done before they
Falta de
challenge.
tiro, a ver qué pasa.
Yeah, and
A ver
giving
qué
up free
pasa.
throws
No le
isn't
erre,
ideal
William.
here, Steve. You know that, but at least they've got the clock.
¡Adentro! 60-59, se queda con el partido Brooklyn Nets. Williams. Adentro, señores, un triple lo que nos separa de la victoria de Leandro de Matías. A ver qué hace. No tiene rectificación para hacer cambio. Falta 24 segundos.
They trail by 2.
Se juega Leandro.
We got 22 seconds left in the game.
Fría de Matías.
Is what you're
Quiere
saying?
ver qué puede
Well,
hacer.
we'll
No
see
mete
what
los
they come
manos.
up with. Plenty of time. If they execute,
A
they should be
ver,
able to
3
get a good look
segundos,
here.
2,
I agree
1,
with you,
se
Steve.
acaba.
I'd like to see him pound the inside and try to get to
22 segundos del partido.
Making some changes.
Se la va a
Here's a
jugar Leandro
Toronto
en un
just
triple.
checked in for
Y va a haber el
Garnett.
doble.
Terry comes in for Joe Johnson.
Error.
Livingston
Falta
And now
personal.
intentional foul.
Partido de Matías. Se quedó con el partido Matías esta vez. Y va adentro. 62 a 59. Un puntito más que lo separa de la gloria. Matías adentro y ganó el partido de hoy. Matías. Faltan 8 segundos. ¿Cuánto falta? 18 segundos. No, 16 segundos. Ya está. Jugate la de triple, pero no. Es muy difícil. Delfino de triple. Fuera. Ganó Brooklyn Nets. Dale Brooklyn Nets. Se viene últimos 4 segundos. El equipo es dinamita. Ha ganado Brooklyn Nets contra Milwaukee Bucks.
Nobody wants to lose a close game, Kevin. It's much better to win those tight ones.
Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our 2K Sports crew thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Paul Pierce.